Alrighty. Well, it's that time again. I am live. Now, I do have, I guess you could call them like cold like symptoms, but yeah, I assure you that it's not nearly as bad as it sounds. I just tend to get these sniffles essentially when it gets cold. And I think that's where the name comes from. Cold. As in, we always seem to be sneezing and stuff during the winter and autumn months. So, yeah, it just stands to reason that we call the cold when it's cold. The English language is weird. So yeah, anyway, this is the daily thought, I guess. In fairness, time also flies when you're doing nothing in particular. And yeah, that's kind of an interesting, like, I guess, shower thought that I had. It's like, yeah, when you hear about like testimonies of people on their deathbeds and stuff, like when they're really old and everything, and you just think, oh wow, that's rough. It's it just puts stuff into perspective. So anywho, I started drawing the complete cast of The Walking Dead. Well, not the complete cast, but just the ones listed on the caricature resolution to 2025, and so far I've drawn Andrew Lincoln, Danai Gurira. It's like a Japanese person trying to say the word gorilla. Anyway, now Norman Reedus. Which is a great name. Seriously, of all the names that I have, you know, been appreciative of, like old-fashioned, like, you know, names from the past and everything. Yeah. He's in the video game Death Stranding, which is something I haven't played, but I hear nothing but good things about it, so you might want to check that out at some point. Just finding a bit of inspiration along the way. He's a guy that can sort of he can sort of do handsome and ugly at the same time, or what they like to call ruggedly handsome. But yeah, he's by far my favorite character in the Walking Dead show. As he kind of looks like he belongs out there. So just a heads up, the Saturday stream will not be happening. I am booked to work live. So I'll be away from the studio. I hope I am not too far out of focus. I was having a similar issue in the previous stream with being out of focus on the camera, but it seems to have come good. So what is up in the news? So apparently, after, 16 years, the project on Channel 10 is finally coming to an end. Like, I only ever caught bits of it. Like, I always found the main host to be smug and condescending. And yeah, but man, it's been going since 2009. That's how long that show's been on. And look, I get it that, like, that's kind of a miracle. But, you know, the execs over at Channel 10 just saw it for what it was, and, you know, how, you know, a group of privileged talking heads just, you know, being essentially rude to mainstream Australians. Just wasn't pulling in the kind of ratings that they wanted. So he's got a couple of these sort of moles on his face. But yeah, as far as the current affair shows go, like, I mean, it was more of a panel discussion, really. I mean, that's the kind of format that they had. And yeah, people just sort of, you know, eventually got sick of it. like we had sort of, I guess, a different world only this time last year. Because, you know, Joe Biden was still president and all that. Now it's a whole new dynamic. And the thing is, like, YouTube and just mobile apps in general kind of ended up taking over. Like, we can get all of our news and opinions from YouTube without really having to, go onto Channel 10 to see what Waleed Ali and all his friends think about such and such a event that doesn't really affect most Aussies anyway. So let's see how these heads compare. I'm kind of happy though, because I don't think really anyone, like, who say, for example, watched like Sky News Australia, liked the project at all. Because it just seemed like not so much, an open and honest discussion. It just more seemed like sort of a glorified HR lecture in many respects. And I think the overall effect that YouTube has on the discourse has made a very significant impact on television, just free to air television in general, like. And it's kind of undeniable at this point. I mean, TV is still very, very, like, powerful. Yeah, I guess they just weren't bringing in the ratings that the advertisers were happy with. So I've seen the trailers for the new Fantastic Four movie, and I gotta say that, like, this recent trend of making the characters look as much like they do in the comics as possible is a breath of fresh air. Like, I honestly appreciate it. It's very, very cool. And I think with the Fantastic Four, like, they kind of have always looked like they do in the comics. Like, even that really strange one where it was Fant Four-Stick that nobody, like, really liked. But apparently they've got Galactus that looks like Galactus. And they've got Johnny Storm who looks like Johnny Storm. And they've got Pedro Pascal playing what's his face? Mr. Fantastic. Which I think is, you know, like, you got a talented guy who is good at reading his lines, and he has built a rather impressive pedigree as a superhero type guy who, you know, like, if you need somebody who can play a comic book hero or even a video game hero, then yeah, Pedro Pascal is your guy. He apparently plays the guy in The Last of Us. And I've seen, like, I've never actually played the game The Last of Us, and I haven't watched the show at all. But, you know, apparently, you know, fans apparently hate it. They're not into it at all. They find the girl that plays Ellie, you know, to be the instant target of ridicule, and yeah, it's just one of those things where, yep. Like, he does have a very interesting looking face. So yeah, Norman Reedus can pull off ugly and handsome at the same time, which I find quite impressive. Like, he's sort of got that smoldering, like, rebel look. Like, this guy's a bad boy kind of thing. And at the same time, like, if he worked as like a garbage truck driver, I wouldn't be surprised. Like they call it ruggedly handsome. Which is a really genteel way of saying that somebody's like unattractive. Let's check who's next on the list. Melissa McBride. Sultry older woman and love interest. Now we're just over the half an hour mark. So yeah, like I think the idea of the new Fantastic Four movie, I think it'll work. I honestly, I'm not a big superhero movie watcher. Like I haven't really, gone out of my way to see any real superhero movies like in the theaters. I think the last one I went and saw was Deadpool Wolverine. I think that movie in particular, it just that was a fun one. I mean, my level of tolerance for Ryan Reynolds was put to the test because he is funny, and I remember him from back in the day when he was on Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. Like, that is how old school and far back in time my perceptions of Ryan Reynolds go. Like, I remember him back when he was in a fat suit singing I Swear into a Mirror. And that movie is hilarious. Just for that scene. Like, honestly, funny as. Because I know people like that. In fact, I am one of those people. Although, I'm not morbidly obese, and I don't have that kind of curly hair anymore, but you get what I'm saying. So let's just rename these. So that's Norman Reedus. You got to be careful sometimes because when it comes to Procreate, changing the names of any of your layers can be fraught with all kinds of, tricky difficulties. Danai Gurira. And, I can't think of his name. Oh, that's right, Andrew Lincoln. So I'm kind of playing catch up with the ISCA. So there was a recent update to the old Heroes of the Storm game, and I got to say that for a game that went into maintenance mode almost 5 years ago now, it was kind of nice just to see it finally get just the teeniest amount of demonstrated developer love. Like, they didn't have to do too much, and these guys are kind of in like sort of bare minimum mode at the moment. But yeah, it was good just to see like just a tiny amount of content just added to the game. Like, not enough to keep me playing for any significant amount of time. Like, it's like, oh, here's a new hero skin for Thrall. Remember Thrall from World of Warcraft? Yeah. We know you'd rather be playing that game than this, but here's a cosmetic that we had lying around that they say is cell shaded, but it honestly looks like it honestly looks unfinished. And that's another thing. I don't get the idea. I don't get the big sort of fuss about how cell shading looks. Like, for some things it looks okay, but for most of the time it just looks like a Snapchat filter. It's like, ooh, look, this thing doesn't have enough detail. Doesn't it kind of look like a 3D version of an animated character from like a 90s era TV show? It's just like, yeah, I guess you're right. But it still looks like jarringly out of place, amongst the other assets. It's weird, you just think, okay. Well, the last hero we had included in the game was Mei from Overwatch, and that was back in when was it? 2020 or something like that. Like, there's been really nothing. And it's honestly like, it's such a shame because I used to love playing that game, you know? Like, I'd spend way too long, you know, just sort of teaming up and playing alongside mostly randoms. Like, I've never been like a big sort of, like, dedicated team player. Like, I like going at my own pace when it comes to games, particularly like anything multiplayer. Like, I'm perfectly happy to just sort of join forces with a bunch of, you know, randoms and just go into battle and see if we win. But I won't, you know, go out of my way to forge any kind of like lasting alliance with these people. I'm just like, look, I appreciate your help, but you know, you've really got all the sentimental value to me as a parking inspector. So yeah, see you when I see you, which is what I usually say at the end of the stream. But you know. Yeah, it kind of looks like it. I may need to go back and sort of rework these a little bit. Get some better references. Yeah, so what else is in the news? Apparently Prince William has like a whole like list of things that he wants to achieve and do when he becomes king. And like, because we recently celebrated the king's birthday here in Australia, it's like, it's so weird sort of adjusting to the fact that like the Queen is just gone. Because I and even my parents' generation grew up with like Queen Elizabeth as like the reigning monarch. You know, she was the last of the old school British Empire monarchs. And now it's King Charles. And he was like known as Prince Charles for pretty much his entire life. Like, Queen Elizabeth gave birth to him when she was in her 20s. And she lived to be like almost 100 years old. So her son, who was supposed to be like, you know, king, like way sooner, you know, had to wait until he was well beyond retirement age just to finally get the job that he was supposed to have when he was, you know, a proper working royal. So now he's got the job and now he's, you know, calling the shots and everything. I mean, the King of England, like the English the monarchy as it were, doesn't really have like any sort of full on like actual political power. Like most of, I mean, it does have some political, like it has more political influence than it has political power. But yeah, like it just boils down to the fact that like um, the way it works is his roles are mostly ceremonial, and the bulk of his income is from tourists, really. Like, I mean, he's got like the British royal family has like absolute boatloads of money, all caught up in like properties and stuff like that. But they are an absolute they're like an old money shadow of, you know, their former glory. It's a good gig if you can get it. So yeah, like what's his name? Prince William. Apparently, he wants to entirely strip Prince Harry of. You know, let me read the article. So what he wants to do is strip Prince Harry of all of his. Hang on. Prince William. So yeah, this is from. So hang on, let me read it. Here's who Prince William plans to fire, hire, and banish once he becomes king. Prince William is making dramatic plans to become king as his father continues his cancer battle, and while he hopes King Charles will reign for a good many more years, behind the scenes he's assembling his team and crystallizing ideas on how he wants to reign. The Prince of Wales, 42, he's my age, and he has similar hair. Wants to strip wayward brother Prince Harry of his titles and not invite him to his coronation. He wants to banish Prince Andrew, who's 65, from public life forever, and promote Princess Beatrice and Princess Eugenie to royal duties, and prepare his son George to be king after him. So yeah, that's kind of crazy, actually. I mean, again, these guys aren't like anything more than just sort of like strange, privileged, historical museum mascots. but they do have some influence over how the country is actually run. Like, it used to be much more significant, but now it's like, it's hardly anything. So who's next? Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Otherwise known as Negan. I've got to say, he is a charismatic character, that's for sure. Very strong features. So very versatile actor too. So him and another member of the Walking Dead cast are in, what's it called? Invincible, which is an animated series that I would highly, highly recommend. So he plays this Viltrumite enforcer kind of. He's like this sort of lone wolf psychopath that fights Invincible. And he damn near almost, like, gets him. And then, like, as always, Invincible kind of reaches down into the very sort of pit of his, stomach or whatever, and, finds the power to fight back. It's all very cathartic. Like, the whole show just sort of smacks of Dragon Ball Z themes. Like the natural power imbalance between fathers and sons. I think it would be great to go to a convention as a guest. Like, I've only ever paid to go to conventions. I've been going to conventions since 2010, and honestly, I've got friends and colleagues who get invited to just, show up as like the honored, panel discussion member, or just there to sign copies of their books and stuff. And that's what I want to do. That's my next goal. I've got like a whole list of not so much gotta haves, but wanna do's. Like, I'm very much in that sort of mindset of like, we gotta make this happen. So I made this observation years ago, but it bears repeating. The most important characters in the Walking Dead series aren't actually like the main protagonists running around, shooting stuff and taking names or whatever. It's not even the villains. It's the extras. Like, it's in the name of the show, Walking Dead. Like, all those people that, went to the casting call and just, pretended to be, zombies. They are the sole reason for the show's existence. They wouldn't call it anything else. It's one of those sobering thoughts, that I'm always having these kind of contemplations, I guess you can call them. So Negan, I think he starts out as like a straight up bad guy, but as the show progresses, he becomes more of a complicated anti-hero. So this is the first time I haven't actually been live on all the platforms in one hit. Like, tonight I'm only streaming on Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. I'm not actually live on TikTok at all. Because for some reason, there's like an issue with the authenticator, so I may have to check in with those guys tomorrow, see what they say. So guys, I will be right back. We just made it to the hour mark, so I usually take a little bit of a break around this time. So I will be right back. Anyway, yes, it does help a lot. Thank you very much. Anywho, where was I? That's right. I've kind of got a project that I didn't finish the last time that I want to kind of sort of knock on the head. Tonight. If you'll indulge me. So a mate of mine had a cat that died recently. And he was very, very, very attached to this cat. Now me, like I mentioned last time, I am strictly a dog person. And I don't even like dogs that much. Like I'm happy just to keep fish. Like I am totally fine. Not really owning or having to, you know, pay for the upkeep of an expensive pet ever again. Like I am sort of at that weird inflection point in my life where I'm just like, look, if my family wants to get a dog, that's fine. But I will not personally go out and find and, you know, bring home a dog from like a pet shop or something like that. I'm just like, I used to be more open to the idea, but the older I've gotten, the less wide that way I've become. Like it's strange. I used to, you know, think that having a puppy would be the coolest thing ever. And like, you know, as a kid, it was for a little while. But a dog that doesn't have any like sort of, it's just like a house pet, it doesn't have any like cool powers. Like I was always under the impression that like each dog breed meant that like it would automatically be able to do what it was bred for. Like I've always come from a little dog family. Like the dogs I grew up with were never like any bigger than like a terrier. Like my family was just not a hound dog family. The heck's going on? Getting all these notifications, what the heck? Get out of here, notifications. like as open to the idea of, you know, having a pet that can guard the house, I think is a cool enough idea. But I've watched enough like videos where like the owner has staged a kidnapping or like a home invasion, and the dog just seriously, it just continues to eat from the bowl. Like the dog just looks up, sort of vaguely acknowledges that its master is in trouble, and then it proceeds to go back and just continue like wolfing down the food. I mean, dogs are funny animals. So, yeah. So apparently there's been a bunch of riots breaking out in Los Angeles. Like everyone's just, you know, losing their minds over there. So in retaliation, like Trump has sent out the National Guard. And there was like this Aussie reporter there. I think her name is like Lauren Tomasi. And poor girl, like she was like standing across from the cops and everything. And apparently one of the cops shot her in the back of the yeah, she got shot in the back of the calf muscle with a what do they use? The rubber bullets. So she got absolutely like stung, right? Like I think they shot her not from like point blank range, but pretty close. Like they must have been only maybe 5 to 10 meters away from her, and yeah, the guy just shot her in the back of the leg. And man, that just sort of that solidified everything, you know, just thinking, ooh, things are not cool right now. That's just interesting, you know, it's like the press kind of has this sort of funny idea that just because they've got a camera in front of them and they're talking into a microphone and, you know, they might be wearing like a little vest or something like that says press, that they're sort of like in a way immune. And that couldn't honestly be further from the truth. Like, it's one of those jobs that I could never see myself doing. Like, as far as it goes, like, I would, like, if I could get into, like, journalism and everything, I would be, like, a camera operator. I can see myself more as just as much behind the camera as in front of it. But because of my ego and because I do what I do, I would honestly sort of be at odds with, you know, whether or not I would want to be in front of the camera as well as operating it. So it's the whole thing. I mean, I guess I could report as a selfie or something like that. But yeah, man, that poor girl. like she looked visibly shaken and frightened, and the camera operator, just kept rolling, and I thought that was just whoa. That is some excellent, like, read the room journalism right there, you know. Like she's like she's standing there holding the mic, like, are you gonna call cut? Are you gonna call cut? And then, boom, hitting the leg, and that video went viral. Because Aussies kind of, we have like this sort of unspoken rule, I guess, where it's called "She'll be right, mate," and it's kind of like our version of Hakuna Matata from The Lion King. Like we're very proud of the fact that, like, we kind of have this protective force field of we shouldn't worry about really anything. And yeah, like I call it she'll be the she'll be right mate shield. As I was saying last time, like apparently Siam hasn't been gone for that long. Like, I think it became, hang on, when did it become Thailand? Yeah, so Siam became Thailand in 1939, which is the same year that The Wizard of Oz came out. So, if your grandparents are like in their 80s or 90s, they are older than Thailand, and they may have memories of what Thailand was like before, when it used to be called Siam. Like, isn't that crazy that, like, all these countries that sort of seem to have these ancient, like, you know, these pre-colonial nations and everything, they're just not that old. Like, I mean, they are old compared to this new generation who's just coming up, but, you know, for instance, Sir David Attenborough. There's something humbling about that. It's like another thing, David Attenborough is so old that the Tasmanian tiger was still around when he was like a kid. Like, Australia's only example of a large apex level predator mammal was hunted to extinction around the time that he was getting ready to start high school. Yeah, I'll read a couple of facts about why is Thailand no longer called Siam. If you've been curious why Thailand was once called Siam and what led to the name change, you're not alone. This is a common question among anyone who's noticed Siam referenced in historic sites, movies, and even in the names of places such as Bangkok's Siam Square. Here's a look at the history behind the name change, the reasons for it, and what it reflects about Thailand's identity. Historical background: Siam to Thailand. I honestly think both names are fine, but I honestly prefer Siam to Thailand. Like I just prefer the name. Like I find it's there's something more, I don't know, authentic about it, I guess. I honestly think authenticities are somewhat overrated, but there's something about like the old names of places that really kind of, I really love like the old names of places. Like, why was this name changed, and can we please change it back? I'm not the biggest history buff, but I prefer the way they were. Siam was the official name of the kingdom for centuries, appearing in records dating as far back as the 13th century. It's believed that Siam may have originated from the Sanskrit word Sayama, meaning dark or brown, a reference to the complexion of the people in the region. Foreign traders, including those from China and Europe, popularized this name when referring to the kingdom, and it stuck. That's fair enough. Just looking at these old colonial maps and everything, and it's like, yeah, far out. First of all, the fact that the colonizers went there in the first place, knowing just how brutally humid that entire area is just, hats off right there. Like, I've been to parts of Southeast Asia, like Vietnam and the Philippines, and even to Borneo. And, you know, pack shorts, seriously. Like, make sure that you bring, you dress appropriately, because those places are warm year round. Like, I love Australia. I have no real, plans or inclinations to leave this country, but my God, I love the fact that this place gets, proper winters. Oh wow, we've hit the 1.5 hour mark. Making some pretty good time for tonight. If you are wondering, yes, I will be doing a gaming stream fairly soon. I want to get back into that. Just been very much under the pump. Ryan Gosling is going to play the next Black Panther. And he's from like an alternate universe or something like that. And I think that's hilarious. Because again, I'm not sort of too hip to the latest developments in comic book movies. But the fact that there's a there's a noticeable swap between the races that's kind of going in reverse is just interesting. You know, I'm like, okay, fair enough. I mean, anything to get butts back in the seats, you know, over at the movie theaters, because like, I can appreciate, you know, just how much the interest in superhero movies as a genre has kind of evaporated over the years. Like, I barely watch them. For instance, going out to see Deadpool Wolverine with my missus, that was an exception. Like, we hadn't done a date night like movie in a while, and it was kind of a special occasion because that's the movie we went and saw when I discovered that I was about to become a dad. Just on that topic and on a tangent, that girl from that show, what's it called? The Last of Us. Yeah. When she delivered that line, I don't think that she quite anticipated just how much her life was going to irreversibly change after that. You know, she's handed the script, and you know, she does like a read and everything at the table, and you know, the producers and the directors, they kind of make sure that she's got all that memorized and ready to go, and then she says it. It goes viral, and it's one of the most cringiest lines ever delivered by an actress, really, in television history. And because she looks the way she does, like, people have been kind of ripping on her appearance ever since, like, she was introduced to the show. And now it's, like, really ramping up. Because, I mean, she's not conventionally attractive. She's just kind of, like, you know, she's not, like, leading lady material, if that makes sense. Yeah, when we went to see Deadpool Wolverine, yeah, I was given the news that yeah, fatherhood was going to be on my 2025 bingo card. So it's a strange world we live in. Beautiful, wonderful, elegant, but strange. See, I'm a bit happier with this version than I am with that one, so I won't have that version there anymore. stick that there. Siamese have more white whiskers. I think most cats have white whiskers. So residents erupt as entire Aussie suburb left smelling like a toilet after a major leak. A concerning smell wafting through a Perth suburb alerted residents that their long weekend was going horribly wrong. Residents of an Australian suburb are complaining that their local area smells like a toilet after a deluge of human waste began spreading through the area. Aerial images show thousands of litres of human excrement pooling in the sports field in the Perth south, which has slowly run down to the popular tourist area of Fremantle, prompting authorities to plead with the public to avoid recreational activities like fishing. Ugh. Oh no. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, I'm not so much into fishing myself. Never was the biggest fan. But yeah. It's just interesting. What can happen over a long weekend? Yep. Wrong layer. Cool. All right. I'm going to take another short break. I will be right back. Actually, no. Don't worry about it. Let's continue where we left off. Give this guy more of a robust nose. So for the Saturday stream, I'll be going live on Instagram. So you can still catch me on that platform, but I won't be on Twitch or YouTube. So let's check who's next on the list. Lauren Cohen. Lauren Cohen. Let's have a look. Oh, she's pretty. She's in The Walking Dead as well. Like these are all Walking Dead cast members. Thing is, she always looks like really serious in these examples that I'm sort of opening up here. I guess she's like in character and stuff, so yeah. Yeah, she's cuter when she smiles. That's a great one of her. You know, I always appreciate like a really good celebrity headshot. I drew one of Dua Lipa a few months ago. And she sort of has the similar head shape. I always thought it was Dua Lipa, but apparently no, I was pronouncing it wrong. It's Dua Lipa. She's cute as well. I don't know what it is, but for some reason they're just making better looking people for a change. That's all like the latest sort of updates. When it came to the cosmetic surgery that like the Kardashians and that get. I'm like, okay. Looks like the mum is basically aging in reverse. It's kind of like when you need to use ChatGPT because you can't trust your own eyes anymore. Like you just type into that, like, please tell me I'm not hallucinating, but is Kim Kardashian's mum on some kind of Fountain of Youth trip or something? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Dua Lipa and what's her name? Sabrina Carpenter. Far out. What's going on there? I might have to make a separate episode where I just draw all these, like, um, newish pop stars and everything. Because, I mean, the most interesting thing that Katy Perry's done is just, she was up in that rocket for like less than 15 minutes. And she came back to Earth and she thought she'd, just walked on the moon or something. And I'm honestly, like, I don't disparage her that experience. I mean, that is a cool experience. I mean, it was heavily controlled. It was, financed by the rich, like, one of the richest men in the world. I mean, nothing could go wrong, but still, it's still risky, Because we literally just had the Titan sub, like the audio from that, recently been made public. So the guy's wife, what's his name? Stockton Rush's wife was, like, she was his kind of, like, assistant in a way. Like, she was on board, like, the mothership boat as they were plunging into the icy depths of the North Atlantic. And she was, like, on a computer, like, up safe on dry land with all the breathable air, and she was monitoring the sub as it went down. And, she's got the live stream on and everything, and she's sitting across from some bloke on another chair, and she's just chatting away like, oh, everything seems fine, they're descending pretty quickly, yada yada yada. And then she hears a sort of a muffled boom sound, and she turns to the guy next to her and goes, "What was that?" And yeah, it turned out, like, yeah, that was the last anything anyone ever heard of Stockton Rush and those poor people ever again. Because I've seen a bunch of visualizations, like, what people have surmised through, crunching the numbers and everything, what happened. And yeah, it's just brutal. Like, they would have been pulverized instantly. There's no doubt about that. Like, they didn't suffer. So, I mean, I guess take with that knowledge and do with it as you will. You know, 1 minute they're sort of nervously smiling and trying to distract themselves from the fact that, like, they can't see the sun. They really don't know where they are. And they're hearing, like, these eerie creaking noises and just stuff that sounds like it's gonna snap. And they're looking at that tiny little porthole window into the inky blackness. Like, the entire ship, like, the walls of the vessel are just cold from the ambient temperature of the water. And then gone. Like, they didn't... They probably wouldn't have had time to even, like, react or scream or anything. Just here today, gone tomorrow. Blinked out of existence. Like, I mean, the older dudes really should have known better, and I'm pretty sure they did, except for Stockton, obviously. But there was like a 19-year-old, you know, just used to having to tag along with his father to all kinds of, silly things that ranged in, like, importance in his life, from boring to tedious. But still, like, wealthy enough that, like, he could still have, like, these amazing experiences. And this, honestly, was just, like, the last one, Just really, really tragic. Anyway, guys, I think that'll do it for tonight. Throw a bit of extra detail to that hair. Flatten it out just a little bit. Make it look a little bit more serious and a lot less. Preeny. Guess that's a word now. All right. Well, we've hit call it there. Once again, thanks to everyone who stopped by, lurked, said hi, or even, dared to at least chuck in a few well wishes into the chat. Yeah. So I will call it in for tonight. I will be back doing the gaming stream. So yeah, keep a lookout for that. That's exclusively on Twitch. That's not on YouTube and Facebook and all that. So yeah, if you like to follow me on Twitch, I'll be doing my gaming stream on there. So yeah, that ought to be a bunch of fun. So yeah, until next time, guys, I've been Ed, you've been great, and I'll see you when I see you. See ya.